At the Christmas party, my mother-in-law declared, "It's time to replace you. You're useless." And everyone laughed. At least, they thought it was a joke. The tree lights were glowing. Music was playing softly. Glasses clinked. Then she tapped her fork against her wine glass like she was making a grand announcement. "I've decided," she said dramatically, smiling too wide. "Next year, we're upgrading. My son deserves better. It's time to replace you." A few awkward chuckles. Someone muttered, "Oh, she's kidding." But she wasn't looking at them. She was looking at me. I felt the heat rise in my face. My husband shifted uncomfortably beside me, but didn't say a word. That hurt more than her comment. "After all," she continued, "what exactly do you even do?" There it was, the implication that I wasn't earning enough, cooking enough, hosting enough, being enough. For years, I tolerated the small digs. "You're too quiet. You're not ambitious. You don't fit this family." But tonight she wanted a stage, so I gave her one. I stood up slowly, picking up my glass. "You're right," I said calmly. The room went still. Her smile widened, thinking she'd won. "I don't do everything," I continued. "I don't compete. I don't gossip. I don't measure my worth by how loudly I criticize others." A few people shifted in their seats. "But I do support your son. I do work full-time. I do pay half the bills. And I do choose respect, even when it's not offered back." Silence. My husband finally looked at me, really looked at me. "And if anyone thinks I'm replaceable," I added gently, "that's not a Christmas problem. That's a marriage conversation." The air changed instantly. My mother-in-law's confident posture cracked. She hadn't expected composure. She had expected tears. I turned to my husband. "Well?" I asked quietly. He swallowed. "For the record," he said, standing up beside me, "there's no upgrade coming. I married her because she's my partner, not because she's competing for approval." Now, the silence felt different. Heavy, not with humiliation, with realization. My mother-in-law forced a tight laugh. "I was just joking." I smiled politely. "Jokes are funny," I replied. "Ultimatums aren't." We didn't stay long after that. As we walked to the car, my husband squeezed my hand. "I should have spoken sooner," he admitted. "Yes," I said simply, "because sometimes the real replacement isn't a person. It's a pattern." And that night, something shifted. She tried to make me feel small under the Christmas lights. Instead, she learned something important. I don't raise my voice. I raise the standard. That we didn't speak much on the drive home. Christmas lights blurred past the window, bright and artificial, while the silence between us felt raw and real. Finally, I broke it. "Why didn't you say something sooner?" My husband kept his eyes on the road. I didn't think she meant it like that. I turned to him slowly. "Like what?" "Like replacing you." She said it twice. I replied, and asked what I even do. He exhaled sharply, like the weight of it was finally landing. "She jokes like that," he muttered. "No," I said calmly. "She tests like that." That word hung in the air, because it was true. For years, his mother had tested me. Small remarks disguised as humor, comparisons to his ex-comments about how a real wife behaves. Each one subtle enough to deny, each one sharp enough to wound. And every time I swallowed it, for peace, for family, for him. But tonight had been different. Tonight she tried to publicly demote me. When we got home, I didn't storm off. I didn't cry. I went straight to the bedroom and began folding the Christmas sweater I'd worn, the one she'd once criticized for being too plain. My husband stood in the doorway. "I didn't realize it bothered you this much," he said quietly. I paused. "That's the problem," I replied. "You didn't realize." He stepped inside. "What do you want me to do?" I faced him fully. "I want you to understand that silence feels like agreement. That hit him. He sat down on the edge of the bed, hands clasped. She's always been like that, he admitted. Growing up, she'd compare me to other kids. If I didn't win, she'd say she could have had a smarter son. I blinked. So this isn't new, I said softly. No, it suddenly made sense. This wasn't about me being useless. It was about control, about keeping her son emotionally tethered, about reminding everyone that approval came from her and could be withdrawn at any time. You married someone she can't control, I said quietly. He looked up at me, and that scares her. The next morning, my phone buzzed. A message from my mother-in-law. You were too sensitive last night. I was joking. Don't create drama. I read it twice. Then I responded calmly. Respect isn't drama. Public humiliation is. She didn't reply. 2 days later, she invited us for a proper Christmas dinner redo. I almost laughed. Redo? As if the night had been a spilled drink, not a deliberate insult. My husband looked at me. We don't have to go. I studied him carefully. Do you want to go? He hesitated. Yes, but not like before. That was the first time he had chosen a boundary over comfort. So we went. The atmosphere was stiff. Polite smiles. Overly sweet tone. Halfway through dinner, she tried again, though softer this time. Well, she said lightly, I just want what's best for my son. I set my fork down gently. And so do I replied. Her eyes flickered. But what's best for him, I continued evenly, is a partner, not a competition. No raised voice. No anger. Just clarity. She shifted in her chair. I didn't mean to hurt you. You did, I said calmly. But I'm not here to fight. I'm here to make something clear. The table was quiet. I'm not auditioning for this family. I finished. I'm already part of it. If that's uncomfortable, that's not my problem to solve. My husband reached for my hand under the table. That small gesture spoke, louder than any speech. For the first time, she didn't have the upper hand. Not because we attacked, but because we refused to shrink. Weeks passed. The comments didn't disappear entirely, but they changed. No more replace you. No more useless. Instead, there was caution, because she realized something that night under the Christmas lights. I would respond, not emotionally, not dramatically, but directly. One evening, as we were leaving another family gathering, she pulled my husband aside. I overheard just enough. You've changed, she told him. Yes, he replied. How? I grew up. That was it. No shouting. No ultimatums. Just growth. Later, in the car, he turned to me. I should have protected you sooner, he admitted. I smiled faintly. You're protecting us now. And that was what mattered, because here's the truth she never understood. You can't replace someone who refuses to compete. You can't intimidate someone who knows their worth. And you can't control a marriage that stands united. That Christmas, she tried to make me feel disposable. Instead, she exposed something fragile, her need to dominate. And I exposed something stronger, our boundary. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I didn't beg for acceptance. I simply stood up. And sometimes that's all it takes to change the power in a room.